Welcome to Little Home Projects. For this one I've got something different. We made an improvised Christmas trebuchet. I was recently visiting my parents over this last Christmas, and as I was home I decided I was a little bit bored and decided I wanted to build a trebuchet. And you know what? We didn't have anything. We're out on the farm. We only had what's around, so we scavenged some pallet wood and some odds and ends from my dad's workshop, and we set to work on making ourselves a little trebuchet. We wanted to make it as big as possible, but we also just had to use the materials at hand, and since my dad works a lot with pallet wood, basically the largest piece we had was about 4 feet, so we had to start with that, and then pick up any scrap along the way. We started by building A-frames for either side of the trebuchet, screwing and gluing along the way to make sure everything was solid. The plan is to just wing this as we go, cut and paste whatever we can find. Here you can see the trebuchet starting to take shape, giving it a rough size. 2 A-frames made of pallet wood and 2x4, and a 5/16 threaded rod down the middle for a shaft. Alright, so continuing trebuchet farm project, so this is what we have. So we've braced it all up, we've put a nice little flat bottom for a glide pad. We're outside in the snow, it's about -10 out, and we've made up a sling here out of just some loose rope and some loose fake leather plastic. And you know, you can sort of see that it does what it's supposed to at a glance, so we're going to do some tests and see if we need to add more weight and see if that bar is going to hold up. I don't think it will. I think we'll need to go much heavier and with a thicker bar. So test number 2, doubled the weight to 20 pounds, and we're trying to beat that distance. All right, go for it. Double the distance with double the weight. Go physics for the win. Update. Greg the Farmer, episode 17. New and improved centerpiece. Much stronger, 1-inch solid piece of steel. Whole new laminated. This piece of material we're using here is roughly a 2x2. I think it might have been a banister railing for a staircase at some point, but we're basically gluing and screwing it together so that it's more like a 2x4. We figured the fact that it's laminated might make it a bit stronger, and we're drilling out a 1-inch hole for the new shaft. This hole's a little bit tight, so we'll hit with the sander just to smooth out the inside and make sure it doesn't bind up when it's pivoting. Same day, version 2.0, a couple hours later. So we've gone with a thicker arm, added about 1 foot to 2 foot of length, raised the height, drill bit for a pin, added a quick release chain, looks into an eye on the bottom of that, and heavier chain, heavier counterweight, and we're just going to go ahead and use all the weight that we have around, which I think is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 65, 65 pounds. So I'm going to start. We're at the same position. We'll see how far we get. Go test with a brick, 35 pounds. Dad's garden cars. Well, it worked. Now we can double the weight. This is test number 3. All the weight we have, half a brick being thrown. Went higher. Like more length, I guess. Number 4, and we lengthened the string and fixed the harness. I'm a little nervous. Went high. It's going a lot higher than it needs to. So that means we need to make it release later. Yeah. So And just to speak about safety for a minute, this quick release pin that we made, so that we didn't have to stand next to it when we pulled it, it really felt necessary. We were standing a solid 10 or 15 feet away from this thing when it would pull off. It looks small, but 60 pounds of weight whipping a brick around, you don't want it to accidentally go off when you're nearby. It'll come up and stab you with that spike on the end of the rope. So, or sort of the spike on the end of the arm. So definitely be safe if you build something like this. It can be dangerous. We took some high-speed footage to see if we could determine what was going on, and when we looked at it, we definitely found that what was happening is the sling was opening up a little too early and firing the rock almost straight up into the air. So it was getting a lot of height and nowhere near as much distance as we wanted it to get. So what we need to do is bend the pin to make the brick release a bit later.
Went a little bit higher. What we've changed our thing to be a nail that we can bend more readily. We've added the length of chain so it's longer, but this time the chain broke right where we were trying to connect it here. So we'll have to come up with a better way of attaching the weight, or better chain. This is just dog collar chain, so alright. Okay, go for it. So the last throw with the brick traveled 52 feet over there, and then once it hit the ground it rolled another 38 feet. So, like what, 8-inch shorter rope? Go for it. Yep.
The trick ended up being in the firing pin on the end of the arm. Once we got that angle just right, we were able to get a pretty good distance out of it. This ended up being a really fun downtime project, and what I learned from this one was that sometimes it's more fun to go in with no plan and just let things solve themselves. Thanks for watching Little Home Projects. This has been the Little Christmas Trebuchet. If you like this video and you want to see more from Little Home Projects, hit subscribe. If you thought this video was good, give it a thumbs up. I'd love it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.